Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 197, because Joe's counting last week as an episode for everybody, of Fans of Power. I'm Nathan Kennedy, and I'm here with Joe MOTU, and, I feel like someone higher up listens to this show, because we started talking about that damn movie last week, and look what happens.
Yeah, which we'll get to that in a bit. We have that. We're going to do a little discussion on Scare Glow, and it's something that I want to get, obviously, your opinion, Nathan, and everybody in the chat room, because it's just something pertaining to Scare Glow in general. But I'll acknowledge everybody in the chat room, and then I'm going to acknowledge a couple people that are in the chat room, something that they've done, and I appreciate it. But first, let me say hello to Zentron, Papa Hud 69, Zen Brown, Michael Purvis, Febmon, Grimbot's here. Let me keep scrolling. And Adam Gabbard. And I think I got everybody so far. So thank you all for joining us. But I did want to thank Michael Purvis, who's right here in the chat room right now. Before we had our little kind of break, from doing the podcast, I was like, it was just bad timing. But he was like, hey, Joe, he's like, I got a bunch of custom fodder, some figures that I'd like to send you if you'd like to use them for custom figures. I was like, well, I really appreciate it because I always can use custom fodder, for anything. And he sent me this big box full of a ton of vintage figures. And Michael, I really appreciate it. But that's what I do is I always take, stuff that might be messed up and try to turn them into something brand new. So the first one I did make was I took Stratos that was kind of messed up. And that's when I made that one messed up Stratos where I ripped open his chest because how much I hate that, figure and that character. But yes, I ripped open his chest, had blood and everything. Like he just got, just beat to shit. So he was my first custom that I put on a card, and I sold that. And then the next one I used a Grizzlor to turn into Kritor. So Michael, thank you for that giant box. It was greatly appreciated, and it's going to be used for many more figures.
And sorry that he was a jerk for not thanking you sooner than that, especially on last week's show. And yeah, no, I do want to clarify one thing. Because some people the way I worded it probably wasn't the best way when I said Tyler lost interest in Masters. It wasn't so much losing interest in He-Man, it was losing the interest in wanting to be on here and talk about it. That makes that better. I don't know. Yeah. But I just wanted to clarify. It wasn't because some of you guys see him on Facebook, you would see his cover photos changing and everything. Like that, the interest, the passion for that, how much he likes it, didn't diminish. It was just, I think, doing the show aspect of it that was diminishing. So there we go. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, and it was with especially the run of a lot of the things coming in the future kind of just it can light a fire to just burn you out, just piss you off. But yes, he still has the love for Master, so no denying that. But and I wanted to thank Matthew Dutch, who sent me a message. And shut up, Nathan, while I say this. He said, hey, Joe. He said, the Masters of the WWE Universe, the Grayskull ring is supposed to be popping up at a lot of places now. So, people have been finding them, selling them on eBay. And it has really cool artwork for the front and back for, the package that goes around the ring. But even honestly, I'm not going to get it because I want to get the ring that comes with the two figures. This is just the ring by itself. And I figured, well, if they're going to be doing a ring with two figures and you get it for $24 or $29, I'd rather get, just the big package of all that instead of buying the ring. And then what? Am I going to buy the ring again to get some more figures? So, yeah. And then when I mentioned this to Nathan, of course he had something to say.
Well, if you think about it, if you buy the ring by itself and then buy it with the two figures, then you can kind of have, your own
war games.
War games. There you go.
I guess so. Yes.
I'm kind of curious too because I haven't looked into WWE rings or anything like that in a long time. If you were to, let's say, get one of the rings that came with a steel cage, is there a way that cage can work with other rings? Is all that stuff sort of interchangeable? It is.
I'll be honest. I haven't bought WWE rings in forever since I was a kid either. But this one, the reason I'm not sure is if you look at this Grayskull ring. It looks like they have it sculpted with the brick of Castle Grayskull, how it is around the edges. So I don't know if it would have a different kind of setup or shape for things to pop in. So
yeah, that would be kind of cool though. If you could take a cage from one of the other sets and it will still work with this one, that would be kind of neat, especially if you could paint it purple or something. And I like the
which could be cool.
I like the idea behind it, but it's just a good portion of those designs just seem really lazy to me.
Some are weird, but some are still cool. I'm still going to enjoy them. But the ones that they featured are like they're showing Sting, Finn Balor, the Ultimate Warrior, and Triple H are like on the cover, like they're doing one thing. But then when you flip around to the back, you see what's like happening, like the retaliation, because they drew some beautiful art. And I don't know who that was. I don't know if Axel did this art for this or what, because I know he's worked on some stuff with, of course, the WWE. I mean, excuse me, Masters of the Universe comics and other things. So I don't know if he might have a part of this. But either way, on the front you see like Triple H swinging his big, sledgehammer at the Ultimate Warrior who's blocking it. But then when you flip it around the back, I think it was done on purpose. The Warrior's holding his staff almost like how he holds the ropes. He's holding it, but he's jamming it into Triple H. So yeah, it's kind of cool. The art's cool, but no.
I will probably won't buy any of that stuff, but I hope kids enjoy it, and I hope that it like opens their eyes to Masters, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, introducing a younger generation to kind of keep that momentum going. Because I mean, you think about it, in about 30, 40 years, we'll all be starting to fade away. Maybe some of us sooner. Sorry, that's kind of dark, but you know what I mean? Like that passion needs to be passed on so it can continue to keep going and keep going. But
oh, sure. I mean, that's all you are hoping, that obviously you're going to be pleasing the fan base that's always been supporting you, but also yes, trying to bring in a new generation as well. And Matthew Dutch, Brad Collins, and Toki Deathhammer have all joined
Toki
us.
Death Nuts. What's up, man?
When Tyler's having fun with his name. But no, so that's at least with the WWE Masters of the Universe crossover. But
I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious now. Like you said, they're on eBay. Do you know how much these things are going for? How much people are wanting for them on eBay?
Too much. That's what I mean. Because I'm thinking, okay, if they're selling the ring with the two figures for like $29. The ring itself can't be more than that, but the people on eBay, of course, are trying to get over 100. Or let me just type. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Let me see.
Go ahead and look it up, because it's only supposed to retail for what, about $20, $20-$30, something like that. I imagine the ring itself is probably going to be about 20, and then with the figures, it'll probably be about 30 to 40.
Well, they're trying. Well, you know how it is. Anytime somebody is the first to get something, they want to capitalize on the collector, like bug, where collectors have to have everything first. So, like, one person is trying to sell it, buy it now for $64.99.
Oh, okay.
There's no guarantee.
Well, Matt clarified in the chat that the ring is $20, and then it's $30 for the pack. So.
Yeah, with the packs, just do the.
That's not horrible, but.
Yeah, and I thought the figures were supposed to be coming by Christmas, and if the rings are starting to pop up, then that means that I'm assuming figures are going to have to start popping up.
You know what? I would start to think that by Thanksgiving, because a few of my local Walmarts have started to change their modulars in the toy aisle. So yeah, I would fully expect those to start popping up soon. So
yeah, I mean, it would. It would make sense. Like, why have a ring?
If you really want them, just show up after 10 o'clock. That's usually when they have the pallets of everything sitting out there, and you can look at the boxes on the outside, and I'm sure you'll see the Mattel logo. It'll probably say, like, WWE Masters Assortment or whatever.
And it's a good timing, because even things that aren't, like, super sellers, when Christmas comes, and you could probably attest to seeing this.
Oh, yeah, because, you got the clueless grandparents and aunts and uncles. It's like, oh, well.
And they're wanting to buy anything for their kids.
Yeah, that's how... That's how some kids would end up with. You remember that tag team Gemini back in like the mid 2000s? They're like two bald dudes. They're brothers.
No, I don't.
Yeah, those guys are peg warmers. But could you just imagine, like, your grandpa's walking down the aisle? Oh yeah, he likes them wrestlers, and then you're like, Gemini, come on.
And that's what would be a cool thing, a cool little crossover. Mike Shamp, thank you for joining us.
Troll Turtles, yeah. That's honestly, that is one of the prime examples. Oh, he likes Ninja Turtles. Oh, Troll dolls are neat. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, so I'm sure these will sell. I just hope that I can get them before they do that, because I actually want the figures. But at least that's the news on the crossover stuff. But then, yes, we started speaking of the movie last week. And then, bam, then here comes some info. And this, I don't know if it is a guarantee. This is just, I guess, rumors or things that were going around or said. So there's no guarantee behind this. But it was brought up that possibly Sony was thinking about, instead of releasing, like it's going to happen, but releasing the Masters of the Universe movie in theaters in 2021, with the 17-year delay. But if instead of that, maybe they would just like sell it off to Netflix, so Netflix, it could go right to Netflix and be a premiere. Like they wouldn't want to take, because what it was being said, again, not confirmed, but said was like, maybe they didn't have the confidence in Masters of the Universe. Maybe they just don't know what to do with it, which I've always said baffles me. It's like, how do you not know what to do with it when there's over 30 years of history? But then, like, one of the other things they were saying was something along the lines of, well, Men in Black or the recent Men in Black International, that was kind of like a failure, and they don't know if they went like. What the hell does Men in Black have to do with Masters of the Universe? It's not even remotely similar anything with it. So it's like, Men in Black didn't do that great, so I don't know if Masters would. It's like, you guys, are you scared? Maybe you just can't write the damn movie or something? But I'll pass it to you, and then I'd love to hear what people in the chat room are thinking about this too. But go ahead.
I would say that it is just not having confidence in it, because they know that they don't even know what to do with it. I mean, let's face facts. We've talked about it before. Sony has a fantastic track record of having it right there in the palm of their hand to make something great, and what they end up turning out is just the majority of the time absolute trash. So I could see that being just because we relied on Men in Black. That should draw them in just based off the name alone, right? Because they already had 3 other movies before this. And Chris Hemsworth was in it, and people were like, I like that Thor guy. I don't know why I'm doing this so much with the, do voice or whatever, but, yeah, I don't know why that's happening so much tonight, but, it failed. And just thinking about how much they could screw this up. They don't have faith in it. And with it going to Netflix, possibly, if they were to go that route, it might be the better way, because I'm going to be honest, I don't go to the movies anymore because people suck and don't know how to shut up.
Yeah, we know those stories you've told.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I just avoid the theater altogether. I wait for it to either go to Redbox or I just rent it digitally. So if they can do this thing and put it on Netflix, it might work out better, because that's more eyes that could consume it and click on that if they wanted to. So in the long run, it might be better that way.
Because like you said, like, let's say it went to Netflix, and let's say if, and hypothetically and hopefully it was great, and they seen that, oh my God, maybe there still is interest, because there's like a backfire thing to this. Like, what if it went to Netflix and it was just, man, everybody gave it so much praise, and they thought, damn, we should have released that in theaters. We could have been making millions. But, like, if, like you said, wasn't so great, they were like, okay, good, we didn't want to do it. Now, the thing is, if it did pop to Netflix, I would hope, if anything, that it doesn't get the crap to where, okay, remember, this is not Earth, so let's not inject it with politics, agendas, garbage, social stuff. This is Eternia. This is a world of fantasy. Let it be how it always has been, and just tell a good story, because I get scared that they would try to somehow twist something in a way to say, see, look what we've done now, or there's never been this. Like, God forbid they try to say, there's never been black people in Masters of the Universe. I'm like, here we go, time for Joe to explode. Do you want to go look at the amount of black characters that are in Masters of the Universe? Oh, there's never been females. Do you want to see all the females that have been there? And plus, like I said, this is a world of aliens and creatures. Look at Skeletor's evil warriors. Besides Triclops, and let's say Evelyn, because I always thought Evelyn was just, I didn't even consider her white. I just considered her just like kind of a female with just a different skin complexion, because she's yellow as a toy. She's kind of peachy as in the cartoon. But Triclops is basically the only white person on Skeletor's side. If they say, man, there's full of white people, it's like, no, it's actually full of just evil alien beings. You have a crab man. You have a Webster, which is like, a spider, merman. Look at everybody that's on his side. So this is a world of fantasy, and I hope they understand that.
Well, come on, Joe. You want these big corporations to actually handle the beloved properties with care?
Exactly. I mean, like, it pisses me off the thought of it.
I don't know what goes through the mindset with any of it. Yeah, you think about like Turtles and Transformers and G.I. Joe, like they have so much material to work with, and they just don't. Who cares about all this? We're doing our own thing. it's
That's what a good story.
Yeah.
I can't say enough. I just want a good story. Tell a good story and use all the creatures and fantasy creatures and aliens and all the characters that we've come to love. Bring them into the movie or possible movies. They spawn sequels, but just do it justice and just let us feel like we're escaping this reality, because I've always said that was my escape, and a lot of people escape who's listening to us live and who are listening to us later. It's when you tuned into Masters of the Universe, you never get any feeling of Earth, and if there was a lot of bad stuff going on, whether it was in your life, stuff at home, that was your escape to go somewhere where, what, it was good versus evil, the good always, prevailed, but it got your mind off of bad stuff.
Right.
And I don't want to be reminded of any of the crap that goes on in this world where there are a lot of assholes that do stupid stuff. I don't want to be reminded of anybody from any side, anywhere doing. We don't need that in a movie of a fantasy world. So I hope, they can keep it at least how it should be. Like when they did Lord of the Rings, it was just Lord of the Rings. Sure, it wasn't exactly like the books. There were some things that were tweaked and changed, but otherwise, you didn't think about Earth, even though, it's called Middle Earth. You didn't think about Earth. You was like, damn, this is a great fantasy story. I'm enjoying this movie. And that's what I want from Masters.
Yeah. There's a lot to digest with this news, because if you do end up on Netflix, if they go that way, then you might end up with a lot more. If it does just end up going theatrical, then, we got to think in terms of if they're already having this doubt with it and wanting to pursue other methods of distributing it, like, does that automatically think that, well, all right, if they don't have faith in it, then the budget won't be as high, so what's going to get nixed there? It's just a lot to think about with it, and it's all just rumor. It's not to say it's going to happen. And one thing that's being brought up in the chat, which is also a good thing, is I'm sure Mattel obviously has some sort of pull with this property, so if it goes to Netflix, then they're probably looking at losing out on money, because how many things on Netflix actually get toys and things in stores? So I imagine that they would be pushing for a theatrical release.
You'd hope so. At least it's it is, like you said, sure, Netflix can reach more people quicker, but there are the people that they love going to the theater. They love seeing the big theatrical thing, all the previews, all the.
I like going to the movies too. It's just the people that just don't know how to be quiet and courteous and just sit there and watch something for 2 hours.
You do have that issue with that
every time. Even if there's like 3 other people in there, they're all going to be assholes. And I'm either going to have to get up and move from where I'm sitting, or I'm going to have to tell them to shut up. And I don't want to do that. I don't go to the movies like, you know what, I really hope I tell someone to shut the fuck up today. No.
No. Yeah, I know. I've luckily, knock on wood, have been having some almost knocked off the tablet. Have had good experiences going to theaters lately, but well, Mark Out Media, Lyle Convoy, and also Sportimus all joined us. I think I got all you guys. I wanted to acknowledge you, but see, that's the thing. The reason I like saying this, and I love to hear you. Like, I missed a lot of the stuff they were saying, because as I'm talking to you, I couldn't catch all the stuff in the chat. But I would like to see, in the chat room, how many of you think I'd rather see it in the theater, or I'd rather see it on Netflix. You can pop it down there. But the reason we discuss this is, like you said, it's all rumors, but if there's truth to it, you hope your voices can be heard. I've always said that. Yes, maybe the big higher-ups aren't watching our podcast, but you never know. But I want them to see what passionate fans are wanting out of Masters of the Universe. That's why it's great for all of us to kind of let our voices be heard. And if, hypothetically, they've seen, okay, I'll see what these guys are saying. Yeah, maybe we would be great to, keep it at theaters. Maybe we should make sure we make it great fantasy in the movie and not inject it with any stuff that's going to piss people off. It's like, just tell a damn good story. But yeah, I will be curious to see what people in the chat room say. But no, I'd rather have it at the theater, because I would just like to go and see Masters in the theater. There's some of those properties, obviously, you're passionate about. I would rather have that big production than, it debuted on Netflix. I'm like, I kind of feed off of people. I've said it before. I feed off the energy.
Hey, I get it too. To me, it's just a convenience thing if it's on there. I want it to get a theatrical release, but I don't know, man. I with them having the doubts with it, just based off of that, and their one casting decision, it's not looking promising. Hopefully it'll be good. I hope it goes in theaters, proves everybody wrong. I hope it's a hit. And I think everybody wants that too, but I'm not holding my breath or getting my hopes up for it.
Yeah, because like you're right, and even people in the chat room so far, I think they said like 7-4-7 and be in favor of cinema. Most people would like to see it. Markout Media brought up says it won't become a household name without a theatrical release, and which is true because you can't just assume everybody is on Netflix and has it.
Right.
Not everybody has Netflix, but when you see a preview and everybody's got damn TV and they all got regular basic channels on their TV, so even if you don't have cable, you're going to see a preview. You're going to see something. So that way, at least it's getting exposed more. And Jason Johnston, thank you for joining us. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see out of it. It's like, why is this that – I don't know if you guys – how many things you've caught on Netflix for like, great new movies. But, okay, for comedies. When there's a comedy, I admit, I don't go to the theater to go see a comedy. I like just watching that at home. When it's at the theaters, I want big, impacted movies. And the reason I'm getting to this is – why is it sometimes when movies don't go to the theaters that you could tell? Like Adam Sandler, I know some people ain't a fan of him, but the movies he made that were at the theaters and then came out on DVD, Blu-ray, I'd get a kick out of the sick comedy. But man, he's had like a truckload of these movies popping up on Netflix.
Wait, Joe,
it's like they're terrible.
Like what though? What Adam Sandler movies did you get a kick out of?
Well, I mean, I like Happy Gilmore. Okay. I like The Wedding Singer. I like Billy Madison.
Okay. No, you can stop right there. Those are the only three good ones.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I like I said, his movies are funny, but when they, and you might not like Grown Ups, but I like Grown Ups. Oh. But when they,
all right,
shut up.
Joe's off the show. I'm gonna just have to find a way to do this by myself.
But yeah, so when it came to Netflix, it just felt off. And then Will Smith, I think, did a movie called Bright or something. Yeah. And I was like excited. I was like, oh man, this is cool. And it's gonna be like a crazy, unique twist with aliens and stuff. And I was like, damn, that was just stretched out and boring. Yep. It just didn't do nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Netflix just seems to throw cash at these guys, and those movies are garbage. With Netflix, you really have to dig, I think, to find like an original good Netflix movie. Like I know El Camino, which is sort of like the tie-in with Breaking Bad, a continuation of that just premiered, and I haven't looked around to see what the general consensus was on that. If people actually enjoyed it, did it live up to what they had watched in the TV show, which granted, with Breaking Bad, I've only watched like 3.5 seasons, so I need to finish that and then watch the movie, because I put it off forever, because I have a tendency to, anytime there's like these big, everyone's water cooler talk, oh man, have you seen Lost? Isn't Lost great? And I'm like, I don't, when it's something like hot that everybody's watching, like when everyone started jumping on the Walking Dead bandwagon, they're about season 3, and then the show just started going downhill, I jumped off. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. So when people start like hyping stuff up, I'm like, I prepare to be sort of disappointed by it. But hopefully that was good. Some people are already saying like El Camino was amazing, so I'll need to finish the show and then check that out. But for the most part, I feel like you really have to dig to find an original Netflix movie that's like worth a damn. If it's something that they just pulled up a truck to Will Smith's house and dumped the cash on his porch, it's probably not going to be that good.
And I always wondered how do they gauge? I mean, I don't know if they say, do they get like a surge of new subscribers? Because I always wondered, there's no real like way of gauging ratings. Like when there's a new series that's on Netflix and they say, wow, it was a blockbuster, or it was a failure. It's like, but there's not real ratings. How do you know this?
I guess it's just like they look at it how you can look at views on YouTube. How many people clicked on this and watched it? And there's probably analytics of, well, this is how long they watched it. Here's the average watch time, because it's got all that stuff on here that I see. Like how long you guys tune in and watch an episode or whatever. So they got a way to measure it, which apparently those Adam Sandler movies did pretty good, which is why they keep coming out.
Is there a way to rate them to where you say you like them or don't like them though on Netflix?
I don't know. At one point they used to have like a star rating system on there that you could go and just like click or at least give it a like or whatever. I haven't really messed with any of that stuff, but I do see in the corner on the app that it's like 68% match, and I'm like, what are you matching this from? I don't know. I don't know how most of that stuff works.
All right, but yeah, well, I'm glad at least, like I said, we got to discuss that and see what people thought too, and the majority of people seem like they would rather see it in the theaters as well, which I would. And the last thing coming out of Netflix, I think Kevin Smith made a post saying, a lot of people are wondering when's the cartoon coming, and I think he said it might be about 6 months till you see whether it's art or even a preview. It's going to be a bit because of course this thing ain't going to be out
yeah, well,
boom that quick.
When you said 6 months, I was like, damn, that's a short time for them to be done and it's up and everything. But I think six months to actually see something like a teaser that you get an idea. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Right. You figure it's gonna take a bit to do this, but I try to keep positive vibes and thoughts that hopefully this will be good. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm at least trying to have a positive outlook on that upcoming cartoon. So hopefully it'll be good.
Like I said before when we talked about it, with the team behind it and their previous work, I enjoyed with the Castlevania show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it doesn't suck, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. So, like I said, wishful thinking. And Kyle Kendall, thank you for joining us. Now, I wanted to bring up something about Scare Glow, because now you have the compendium guide, so you got to read up.
I did
see things.
I have questions.
Okay, well, you can start with your because the thing that I'll be bringing up to talk about is just something because I see it repeatedly come up in a lot of the groups, because there's over 100. There's a ton of He-Man groups.
Yeah,
but there's always
I get an invite to at least 2 a week.
See, so that's what I mean.
It's good to see, but damn, there are a lot of groups. I'm just like, these guys all just need to talk to each other and find a way to make some big, massive, one whole group.
Well, that's the thing, as I'm going to get into here in a second, is just talking about there's some things that a lot of people always have questions about. And this question comes up a lot pertaining to Scare Glow. But I've seen people get so pissed to where they're blocking each other. I'm like, okay, calm down now. That's we don't have to say, definitively this or that, but I'll give them some info on it. But you're right. As for that's the reason I think there happens to be lots of groups. People get pissed at somebody else and they spin off and they start their own group and their own group and their own group. But tell me since you've read about Scare Glow, tell me what you know about a lot of his origins so far, and then I'll tell you something that always comes up that I'll discuss.
I guess my main question was going to be, in reading this, he has, because never showed up in the cartoon, only in the mini comics and then the other comics and the crossover stuff, and then the bio that's on the back of his classics figure. So what is the preferred? Because there's one of it's Skeletor conjured him up, and he's they're kind of button heads, and ultimately Skeletor kind of knocks him down a peg or two. There's another one that it's he is the image of Skeletor. So they're sort of similar, but what is the definitive? What is the go-to? What is the main one that everyone is you know what? All right, this is the one. It's not those other ones. It's this one.
And it's funny you're asking me this, because this is getting to the heart of the question I was going to bring up that won't stop. People always say, is he Skeletor's ghost, meaning as Skeletor being dead, and this is Skeletor in the future, and it's his ghost. And I tell everybody, no, this is not Skeletor. But this is what I mean. And it shows the different levels of fandom within Masters. There are some that just love collecting the toys, whether it's min on card or even ripping them open and having the toy, and some that love a lot of the mini comics, the art, and everything else, and then some that try to get a combination of both. But what I've found from the collectors, a lot of them always say, did you ever read any of the mini comics? Nope. When I was a kid, I used to rip it open, throw the mini comic away, play with the toy. And then there's the others that say, I like keeping them in on card. And when you do it that way, and if you were to look at Scare Glow's front of his card, he's the evil ghost of Skeletor. So in people's heads, when they're not reading the mini comic or knowing the history, they're thinking, that is a ghost of Skeletor. Wow, maybe it's from the future. I don't know what it is, but it's his ghost. And it's no, it's how they phrased it. Because even Faker, when he was first released, was called Evil Robot of Skeletor. It means basically serving him. And because of how they phrased, ghost of Skeletor, just like robot of Skeletor for Faker, some people got confused. Faker even got when he got re-released, they even changed the text underneath for him, where it said evil robotic He-Man imposter. I always wish that Scare Glow, if he would have just had something like evil ghost serving Skeletor, this would have never happened. Because, as you said, from every single origin he's ever had, never has it been said that is Skeletor. It was in the mini comics, he's summoned from another dimension. In the Star comics, was like some people thought he was Skeletor's evil ghostly double, and sometimes people get confused.
To basically be a distraction because they're like, oh, it's Skeletor to like.
And then he conjured him up, like I think in the UK annuals, or I don't know if it first started from the German stuff, but UK. But either way, some of the international stories where he was summoned up from some energy. It almost looked like a ball, like a Rubik's Cube, but a ball. And he summoned him up to be like his ghostly double. So, or in his image. He made him in his image.
And then in the wonderful DC crossover that everybody loves so much, it's a race. So there's like
I left that alone.
Of that, like,
I left that alone when they were calling them scare glows. I said you can keep that stuff, but people mostly want to go from the vintage stuff. So just to let people know, because like I said, there are a lot of new people that could be listening to us now and never caught the show before, or remembered when we talked about Scareglow before. Scareglow is not Skeletor. He is, like I said, my main thing, it was just from the mini comic that came with him, and he was summoned from another dimension. And like, you do what you do. If you do this for me, then I'll send you back to your world, but you got to help me defeat He-Man. And then in the Star stuff, it's like he just was called his ghostly double, and then in the other ones from the international stuff, he was made in his image. But he is not Skeletor. But I've seen, now that the only reason I've said this and I'm explaining like that is in these groups, people get pissed. I mean, they've gotten pissed. He is Skeletor. He is, and he's from the future. It's like, but where? I don't care. Sit on the card back. And then they start the fuck off back and forth and blocking. I'm like, wow. So that's why I kind of want to explain it. But have you caught anything in the chat room? Because I'd like to know in the chat room.
Fedmon also brings up the bounty hunter aspect there. What's sort of the opinion on that? Because that's on the classics card, correct?
Oh, when he was Carrick Knoll or something. Yeah, that was something created just for that. I mean, I see they were trying something different, and at least from there, you definitely see, again, even if I didn't flip over the classic bios, again, he's not Skeletor, but yes, there was a bounty hunter thing, and he had a reliquary, or whatever they called it, with a key that he found that has a secret opening entrance or something.
And then when he died because of that, he was sort of like banished and chained, and that's sort of how he got the look that he got, I suppose.
Yeah, and chained to all his past crimes or something. But
at least, you know what? At least I actually read that. I'm actually really thankful for that book. So thanks, Danielle, for sending that to me, because it makes me sound it makes me sound not as stupid on this show.
No, it is always. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say Jason Johnson said he was kind of the same as you. Well, wait, no, that was me. I can't say that I ever read a mini comic as a child. So yeah, I was kind of I was kind of different with that stuff. Like, I would play with the figure, but I also really enjoyed having that. And even at the time, playing with these toys at a young age, I don't even think I knew how to read yet because I was about 4 or 5. And
did you say you were like 11 when you first started to read? Or
learn? Yeah. I actually. I still don't know how. I don't even know how I can read the chat room right now.
What a prick. No, Jason, that's why I'm glad he said that too, because that's what I try to let people know, and that's why I can understand it. A lot of the kids didn't read those mini comics, and they did throw them aside. So yes, I guess if when you first looked at it and it said, evil ghost of Skeletor, you threw away everything else, you're going to think, that's Skeletor. It's his ghost. And I could see it and understand it because, God, it is a skeleton, and Skeletor has the skeleton face. I can understand the logic, so that would make sense. So that's why I say I respect when people, if that's the reasoning, then understand why. But if they ever really wanted to know, is he officially? No. But, I mean, hell, even if you still want to just in your own canons and when you have your toys and have fun, you're like, hell, he's still Skeletor to me.
Well,
makes sense.
Well, the thing with Scareglow is Scareglow is a figure that, honestly, I never even saw anywhere as a kid, and even I could honestly say the first time I really saw that figure was just in Tyler's collection. I was like, oh, hey, he looks cool, because I didn't really know anything about him. Does that tie into the fact of why he is so, like, even the vintage figure is just so expensive? Was this what wave did this come out? More towards the tail end of the line, or?
Well, when the tail end, when you started getting characters like Ninja, or when you got Scareglow and Clamp Champ and a lot of the other characters that were coming out, a lot of people said, oh, that's when Master started slowly going away, or maybe people were starting to get into Transformers. So there were some of the people that just never knew about some of the later tail end waves of them. But now that people are like reinvigorated and starting to collect again, just sometimes you get on a kick of a character. And Scareglow, like, I always give John Idas a lot of shit. You know, he has Scareglow's house on Facebook, and I always say Scareglow sucks just to mess with him. But he's a badass looking character. Yeah. I mean, I love as a kid, I was fascinated by all that stuff that would glow in the dark. He looks very cool.
I like the gimmick. That's a fun gimmick. If you can ever have a figure that glows in the dark or is translucent or anything like that, to me it's neat. So you know, if anyone out there has a classic Scareglow that they don't want anymore and just want to send my way, feel free to do so.
He'll give you the P.O. box. He'll give you just help out Nathan. Poor guy ain't got no Scareglow. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
He sure the hell ain't going to get a vintage one, because whether it's loose or carded, you're going to be paying a lot regardless.
I was looking at the classics prices, and I was like, nope. Nope.
Look at a stupid ass. Just look at a cape or his halberd scythe, whatever you want to call it for the vintage figure. Look at what that thing goes by itself. So
I mean, I can imagine, because most kids didn't take care of their toys, so any of the accessories like weapons or capes or hats or anything, all that shit got lost.
And yeah, that was when kids. I mean, you can have some rough play. Me, I treasured everything like it was gold.
Same here.
What happened? Because my brother would blow his. Yeah, he would. He'd take firecrackers and blow his stuff up. I was like, I had to like safeguard my stuff. I mean, I even got that small ass little pistol that still comes with the Grayskull weapons rack, because that's like one of the most lost items in He-Man history. Is if you get a Castle Grayskull, you get the weapons rack, and there's this itty bitty pistol. Almost everybody lost that pistol, and that pistol goes a lot on eBay just by itself. But.
So now,
glow in the dark was a hot thing in the 80s. Glow in the dark was the stuff.
Now we need to Photoshop Sid from Toy Story about to blow up like a Masters figure, and then you have like a little kid with a Modulok mask just standing off to the side, looking sad, can't do anything.
That would be me. Yeah, and that'd be me. But that was want to do that little Scareglow discussion just to, like I said, see other people's thoughts, give a little thing on that. But now, if you guys have anything in the chat room you want to ask us from the cartoons, toys, mini comics, or whatever stuff, or any other random things, because Nathan, he'll be willing to answer any stuff. Go ahead and do it right now.
Ask me anything. I will answer honestly. Anything.
Anyway, and that's and we like I said, coming up, maybe in a week or two, we're going to have a couple special guests. We'll just see how things are planned out to have some guests on the show. We still do have more types of, whether it's trivia and other contests for you to win a copy of the Power and the Honor Foundation book. Got plenty of those that will be given away. So we'll have other contests to do stuff like that. Oh, thank you, Mike Shamp. Okay. He said, what's your opinion on now this you might not know, but I forgot to mention it because David Clark over in the Masters of the Origins group, that's another great group on Facebook. David Clark showed pictures of Hot Wheels is going to be making Masters of the Universe vehicles small like that. And he's like, man, that's something I always thought, I used to mention a long time ago. But they showed an itty bitty Wind Raider. And then for Thundercats, they showed a little Thunder Tank. Oh, I'm going to get them. And you know what's weird is, like, once I seen that, I remembered as a kid, that was the other thing I collected. I was obsessed with Hot Wheels. I'd love going to the store. They were so cheap. It was like the one thing I could always afford because I was always finding quarters, dimes, nickels on the ground. So, no, but really, I had a lot of Hot Wheels. So go ahead.
I know. I just see you with like a metal detector, just like walking around trying to find any bit of loose change, going into people's yards, hoping someone like had a hole in their pocket when they were mowing or something. You're just like, oh man, look, another penny. I made 13 cents today. Hell yeah. No, I
did.
I think anytime they do that specialty stuff with the Hot Wheels, because I've seen like all the various Batmobiles, like the DeLorean, you name it, they put it out. So for them to do this on a smaller scale is cool. I knew nothing of it, and I didn't know where this was going, because I do remember when MYP was out, that Hot Wheels put out some just random vehicles that had like the various characters painted on the sides.
They took some of the old artwork posters that we had and slapped them on the vehicles, which were cool, but it wasn't. actual vehicles.
Yeah, I remember like Tyler was so excited about those when we found them in store, and I was just kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, good for you, good for you, but they don't really look that good.
No, I admit, and I have them right over here. But I was excited too. Just that's
why. This is the best thing about Joe. Joe's like, oh, hey, let me just reach down here, and everything's in the floor.
Like it's like that's why I sit in the middle of my room. I'm almost
just surrounded by a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, except when I reached too far and then I knocked everything over. But it was fun for the hunt. Like, they even did a 4-pack, and I don't know if it was exclusive to Toys R Us, but it was in a box. And if you looked at the box, it almost looked like that King Grayskull box that when they first released King Grayskull for the Classics, because he was the first figure released in the Classics line. And so it kind of gave you the illusion of, man, I got a King Grayskull, but it was the Hot Wheels. But no, so Mike was wondering if they plan more. Well, I'm sure, Mike, I guarantee those things are going to sell well. And if they do, I hope they do more. I'd love to see a little Roton, a little Land Shark, Battle Ram, cool. Attack Track.
Yeah.
Do them all.
Yeah, do them all. Because it would be a neat thing. You're just going to have to probably fight those. I don't know if anyone else has this around here, but a lot of the times when I go to the toy aisle, you always see like these dudes that are in their mid-50s. They're just like standing there hovering over in the Hot Wheel aisle, like flipping through them like madmen. I'm like, you guys are really into this, huh? I was never much into Hot Wheels. Like, they were kind of neat to have, and some of the play sets were kind of cool with like the volcano.
Could you imagine being a collector of Hot Wheels to have them all? I mean, what do they have, like 50,000? No. I mean, literally, how many do they got?
Yeah, because they make a lot of dumb ones too. So I guess it's with anything else. Like, well, yeah, that's stupid, but I'm collecting them all, so I guess I got to buy it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but yeah, keep them cheap at least. It's like a cheap collection. But I mean, it would just talk about filling up shelves and rooms. But yeah, thank you for that. And Adam Gabbert said Scaregirl should have been in the cartoon. He was like, yeah, it did suck that he wasn't in that. It sucked that he wasn't in that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I would have. Man, I bet they would have made him wicked as hell in MYP. So it does suck he never appeared in any of the cartoons. And Fedmon says, okay, and like I said, this is why it's random questions. He said, the one kid's Halloween special that you have to watch no matter what, or episode from a show.
Damn.
Yeah, for me, well, like I said, I'm older than Nathan. He probably ain't into it, but yes, every Halloween, I got to watch Charlie Brown, or The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. You know what? I always got pissed.
Charlie Brown's an asshole, Joe.
Hey, but no, but look at this. He didn't do nothing in that episode. It was like they're all giving him rocks. I was like, yeah, you're making him into a little psycho. He's probably going to get older and throw all the rocks to the damn windows. Like, this poor kid is getting rocks at every house. I was like, those are some mean fuckers. What did Charlie Brown do to get rocks? I always hated it. It's like, that poor guy's getting rocks for nothing. Sure, he is a real shitty ghost costume with 100 holes or something, or whatever. But damn.
It turns out Joe MOTU actually is Charlie Brown. Grown up.
Real life Charlie Brown, yeah. I feel so bad for that little bastard. Yeah. But yes.
I don't know. That's kind of. I would really have to sit and think about that one. I enjoyed it's newer, but they had like a little Toy Story special. It's called Toy Story of Terror, and that was pretty great. That was pretty great to watch.
Is that the one with like the gingerbread man sees Santa Claus as evil or something, or am I thinking something else for that?
No, this is something completely different.
I thought
I'm trying to think of like Halloween episodes and TV shows that I liked. Damn.
Yeah, I never thought of it. I guess I don't know. I liked when Family Matters were doing the episodes with Steve-O, when it had that little like dummy that came to life that looked like Steve Urkel, and they did it like a couple years in a row. But they don't like rerun Family Matters anymore. But I guess that just popped in my head after you mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I love Family Matters. It's kind of weird that they don't rerun. You would think Nick at Night would just kind of take over that TGIF block, and it would just be more. Here's Family Matters. Here's Step by Step. Here's all that stuff. Man. That's gonna bother me now, trying to think of like all the Halloween specials and shows that I like. I mean, Charlie Brown's a good one. That's a staple.
Garfield didn't he used to have a Halloween one, but I don't know how many times that was. I can't even remember how many animated specials, because that's what Sportimus then said. He said, "What are your favorite Halloween animated specials?" I'm like, damn, I can't think.
Yeah, maybe Joe and I are just drawing blanks, but it seems like they didn't do as many for those as like Christmas.
Oh, look what Graham just did. The
Treehouse of Terror ones. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Treehouse of Horror stuff.
Treehouse
I
of
always
Horror.
love them.
Yeah, I see. I'm not like a big Simpsons guy, and I don't know if that's gonna but it kind of it hit its peak, and then to me it stopped sort of being funny, which I think most people agree. It's like, yeah, it's not as good as it used to be, but they feel like
the Halloween specials work though. You're right. Simpsons, like as a whole for the show, it's still good, but it's not like super amazing. But the Halloween specials, they always do something pretty fun, and that's why I loved when they when I was collecting those Playmates figures, and they would do sets based off of stuff, and you get the Halloween ones versions of those of the Treehouse of Horror, and I got every one of the Playmates stuff from Simpsons. But I'm glad you brought that up, Grimbot. Yeah, and they have a marathon on FX, I think, every year where you can catch all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, so you can always catch up if you haven't seen them in a while. But yeah, those are some good ones.
The Ghostbuster ones, but man, I would have to go and rewatch all of those because I haven't seen any of that stuff in a long, long time. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Like the one question the guys really asked us, and we're just like, I don't remember.
It's weird. Yeah, I just went to it was a blank because all I have in my head is Charlie Brown. I was like, I don't know what they show every year. I mean, if he was going to say something like, hey, what Halloween movies do you like? Or Halloween type themes or scary movies, then then I'm going to blurt out a whole bunch. Yeah. But cartoons,
I don't know if it counts as like a Halloween episode from a show, but the Zeke the Plumber episode from Salute Your Shorts was always a favorite of mine.
And see, I never watched that. I don't even know when that came out.
Okay,
I might have been just up.
You were probably too busy chasing tail and making out behind apple trees.
I mean, what year was it? And I could get an idea. I won't say.
I want to say Salute Your Shorts. I'll look it up. I want to say it was 93.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have been watching no Salute Your Shorts.
No, a little bit earlier than that. It was kind of running between 91, 92, but that they showed reruns of that for years after the fact.
I still don't.
Yeah, the Boy Meets World episode. That was kind of cool where Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up. She went by Jennifer Love Pfefferman, and it was kind of like a slasher running around, and it had like this weird, silly twist like Boy Meets World would do. But yeah, that's a good one. It was a funny episode.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I can't remember it vividly. I watched Boy Meets World, but I just don't remember that episode too well. So. Yeah, Michael Myers, he is definitely worth watching around Halloween. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, you got to watch it. Plus, you can get Chucky, you can get Candyman, Leprechaun. At least Leprechaun before it got too bad.
Hey, if you guys haven't watched Trick or Treat, go check out, watch the movie first, and then go check out our episode of Beyond Retro that we did.
Yeah, Trick or Treat is great. Yeah. It shows they could still make something that feels like, like back in the day, but just have a good tone to it. But Trick or Treat, that has now become a yearly thing. Every Halloween, I watch Trick or Treat. I watch the original Halloween, and I watch Friday the 13th Part 4, or Friday the 13th, the final chapter, if you will. Those are my main staples I now watch every year as for Halloween movies. Pumpkinhead is great, too.
Pumpkinhead's awesome.
Yeah, so, Jesus. Well, guys, you hit us with, like I said, some questions that's about stumped me with some Halloween animated stuff at the end, but I appreciate all that feedback. And like I said, next week we'll see what we'll be doing. We're going to be getting some guests coming up. And like I said, more contests coming. And because Matthew Dutch won his copy. Eric Amon won his copy. And there's plenty more to give away.
Eric Amon would win a copy of that book. It seems like just everything shines on that guy all the time. He has like the best luck.
Yeah, he did good. I mean, so did Matthew, and like I said, everybody else will have more chances. We'll figure other ways of giving them away in different forms. So it's a lot of times, yes, it'll be with trivia, and then sometimes might have something where it's going to be in conjunction with Facebook, checking out something. But we have a lot to give away. So yeah, I definitely, and I appreciate, the kind donations from, the people that sent that to us who'd like to remain anonymous. But, yes, we do thank you for everything that you sent, and we'll be giving them all away, no doubt. And, Sportimus says E.T. was a Halloween movie. Yeah, I feel that. E.T. was, yeah.
Man, that movie made me cry so much as a kid. And yet
And that was the first movie? Yep, that I cried in. I remember that, and I remember being in the theater watching it.
It's sad.
Yep, I went like this. It was when E.T. was laying at the bottom of that ravine, and he looked dead, and everybody thought he was dead. And I started having tears coming, and I put my hands over my face like this so my parents wouldn't see me or anything when I was crying. First movie.
Wait, if your parents saw you crying, what would they just be like? Joey, stop being a bitch.
Stop being a little bitch. No, it just, I don't know. I guess I just didn't like crying in front of anybody. It was the first time I was crying in front of somebody.
That makes sense. Because, I mean, it can be sort of embarrassing at times.
Yep. And, well, before we wrap it up, like I said, Zentron has a movie quote, and then I'll wrap it up. His quote is, "I ain't got time to bleed." Is that like from Predator or something?
It's from Predator.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, thank you again for joining us in the chat room. We had a blast. We love the interaction. We love having you here each week. And, of course, any of you guys listening, we appreciate you, supporting us and watching, listening on iTunes, Podbean. But if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share, ring that bell so you can always get notified when we go live. And until next time, have a powerful day.
See, it's not going to be the same now because I don't have a movie quote or anything. So I just want to say in closing that thank you guys for the love last week. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for sending Joe messages. Thanks for sending me messages to let us know what the show means to you. And I don't know, it means that much to you to have this space where you can hang out with people that have the same interest and passion in this property that, maybe don't get around with all the friends that live nearby, and that's kind of what we're here to do. So, yeah. Glad you guys.
And are you on Twitter?
It. Do what?
Sportimus want to know if you were on Twitter because I'm sure he would like to follow you, and you can let everybody out there know where they can find you on Twitter. Hell, I can do that. I never even thought.
I'm on Twitter, but I don't really make that part like a public thing. So maybe I will one day. Okay. And maybe I will one day, and when I do, I'll let you guys know.
That's Nathan's way of telling you all to piss off. You ain't good to be on his Twitter. No. That's what he's trying to tell you.
But I guess if you guys want to give me a follow on Instagram, because I take pictures of my action figures that you guys don't really get to see in behind me, you can find me on Instagram at Plain Oatmeal. It's a weird name, but
that's it.
No, I got a. Okay. You know what? I got a message from someone. It's like, hey, they offered me money for that screen name, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Wow,
yeah, that's kind of.
Well, for some good money, shit did it. But yeah, as for me, when I first got on Twitter, I was just going to be, hey, I'm Joe Amato. Joe Amato has been taken, which of course is probably the race car driver Joe Amato that people every time when they met me, you related to him? You related to him? No. So I had to go Joe Amato 2, the number 2. So it's not
really
like
damn, Joe. You should.
Shut up! I wasn't.
Why didn't you just make it Rotten Amato?
Back then, when I was first getting, on Twitter, I didn't know anything about this stuff. And I was like, oh, I guess I just have to put the number 2 after it. So I am Joe Amato, and that's the number 2 after it. And then on Instagram, I'm just Joe Amato Customs. Not Joe Amato Custom Creations, Joe Amato Customs on Instagram. So
right on.
But yeah. Okay. And of course on Facebook, you're going to find me as Joe Amato.
Yeah, links down below if you guys want to hit Joe up on Facebook and ask him to customize you something.
There you go. Right. But it was good. See you guys next time.